Okay, I think I got it reset. We'll try this again. Finally. At some point, you might want to see the inside of this. I'm not sure. There's about 145 records in there. Calling over and out, and weirdos unite. Hey guys, Colin here, back with another video this week. And you can see the reflection of my computer and my glasses again. I didn't turn down the brightness like I usually do because I'm doing this late and I didn't feel like doing all the knickknacks of going through and turning down the visual display and all this and that because it's already kind of late. It's 9:40 here and this probably won't be up until 10:30ish, I would say, because it takes that long to download and whatnot. But I have some more records to show y'all that I just bought this week, and I haven't listened to these all. So this isn't going to be a review at all of most of these because I have not listened to them. But the first one I picked up was One World Poetry live from Amsterdam, and I didn't even realize that they had these big poetry bashes or whatever you want to call them back in those days. But this has William Burroughs, Remco Cambert, Jim Carroll, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, amongst others. But one I really liked off of this is where am I at? Oh, this Lytton Kwesi Johnson. He's a Jamaican poet, and I have still yet to look more of his stuff on YouTube. I've seen there's some videos, but he's Jamaican. I'm pretty sure, and he has some pretty good poetry that makes you think. And the one that's on here is called "All We Doing Is Defending," and that's a really good. The one that's I looked up on YouTube is a musical version, but on here it's just spoken word. But I've only listened to one of these albums so far, and I really enjoyed it, except for on the first side, there's somebody I believe is speaking, telling their poem in Russian, or it could even be German or something. I had not really sure, and another one is Spanish, so I'm not really sure what those are saying. They were enjoyable to listen to, but I just didn't understand what they were saying. But that's the poetry album, and so far I'm enjoying that. And here's another one. This is a this documentary is on Netflix, and that's Chasing Train, the original soundtrack. This is kind of a the Coltrane music they played from the movie, and it's almost like a greatest hits album, I would say. Um, but if you haven't seen this documentary on Netflix, go and check it out. It's a couple hours long. It's very extensive and goes into the whole history behind John Coltrane, his ups and downs. At one point, I believe he was hooked on, I want to say heroin, but I'm not sure because it's been a while since I've watched this. But he eventually came out of it, and all the good music that's on here. I love Supreme. There's some good tunes on this, people. Pick that up if you get a chance. If you don't have any John Coltrane, get this one because it's almost like like I said, it's almost like a greatest hits album. This free, the best of, I think I already showed that. I don't know why that's in this pile, but yeah, I did already show this. So there it is again. Here's the Patti Smith group. I've been recently getting into some Patti Smith. I really actually didn't know too much about her until maybe a couple of years ago, and I seen one of her books, and I've been reading one of her books again. I think I have it over here. I can grab it here in a second since I'm supposed to be showing books on here now and then too. I can show that she's right now she's more of a writer than she is playing music, but I see here and there where she's still playing some gigs around here and there, and she also played at Bob Dylan's. He got some sort of Pulitzer Prize. Well, I don't know, what some kind of a medal they give out for stuff every year, and she sang at that the Patti Smith group. Let's see if I can get this book. I think it's over here. I have been rereading this book, and here it is, M Train. I probably showed this in an earlier video, but this is a very good book. I highly recommend Patti Smith's writing if you get a chance. But it's I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I should read some of it. I don't want to make this video real lengthy because I read it before. I'll just read this short part. It's not so easy writing about nothing. That's what a cowpoke was saying as I entered the frame of a dream. Vaguely handsome, intensely iconic. He was balancing on a folding chair, leaning backwards, his Stetson brushing the edge of the dun-colored exterior of a lone cafe. I say lone, as there appeared to be nothing else around except an antiquated gas pump and a rusting trowel ornamented with a necklace of horseflies slung above the last dregs of its stagnant water. There was no one around either, but he didn't seem to mind. He just pulled the brim of his hat over his eyes and kept on talking. It was the same kind of silver belly open road model that Lyndon Johnson used to wear, talking about his hat. And that's she's having a dream on that first part. But again, I highly recommend this book and any of Patti Smith's writing. At least, check it out. It's probably at your local library or somewhere like that. And I've just forgot I was reading her book, and I just kind of threw that in here. Anyway, the next record is Nina Simone, Mood Indigo, the complete Bethlehem singles. Now, I really love Nina Simone's voice and her singing and her piano playing and her music. This was also a documentary on Netflix. I'm not even sure if it's still there. I didn't check. But if you see that documentary someplace, I highly recommend that too. And also the same thing, it shows her ups and downs and trials and tribulations. I believe they found her down on her luck somewhere towards later, after her career subsided, and they kind of brought her back out of what. I don't think it may have had to do with drugs, but I think it may have been some sort of mental affliction she was having, and they got her back on her meds, and she started performing again towards the end of her life, if I remember right. It's been like 2 years since I've seen that docu, but I recommend that one too, and this album. Next, we have Johnny Rivers Changes. Not too much to say about this one. Poor Side of Town. I've just always liked Johnny Rivers. I believe he started out, or most of his music, he was playing at the Whiskey A Go Go or someplace like that. And he does a lot of cover tunes over his career. By the time I get to Phoenix, Days of Wine and Roses, California Dreamin'. But most of his records are like that. They're all like cover tunes. If I Were a Carpenter. But it's a good listen there. If you find any of his records, I'm sure there's a best of Johnny Rivers somewhere. Elvis did the same thing. None of those were probably original tunes that he sang. And here we have Donovan, Slow Down World. I haven't listened to this yet, so I don't know how this sounds. I just kind of picked it up, one of those things. I know I like Donovan, but I'm not too sure I like his stuff later on, and we'll find out. Here we have another Patti Smith. I should have had this in the same pile. Patti Smith, I have not listened to this one, so I'm not sure if I heard any of this yet. But I highly recommend Patti Smith, the music and her books, if you get a chance. And lastly, this is a total blind thing. I only picked it up because it says A Poem Unlimited. I'm not sure if this is music or poetry or what. It says U.S. Girls and A Poem Unlimited. And this was in the new pile over at the record store. So, I'm not sure if it is new, a new recordings or what. Um, I suppose this could be one of those I'll let you know at some point what the heck it is. But it looked interesting, so I picked that up. And that's all the music, folks. Um, Next is the usual hodgepodge of different items around my place that you might want to look at. And here we have a red stapler. Now, if you don't have yourself a red stapler, go out and get one. If you ever watched Office Space, uh, that's a very funny movie, and there's a character in there. He's got a red stapler on a red swing line stapler on his desk, and he's like, "Don't touch my stapler," and all that sort of stuff. He's gonna burn the place down, which he eventually does. Anyway, but that's my red stapler and the old box of red swing line staples. Um, and next, for some other antique type stuff, I printed off these Adler typewriter heads that I found on eBay. They just sent me 5 sheets of Adler typewriter old headings, up here. And but I found these, and I thought you might find them interesting too. Most of these were German companies. Adler Schreib machine. Uh, Connie told me what a lot of the stuff said on these, but at the moment I can't recall. There's Adler, Columbia Typewriter Company. Well, this one was in New York. But I'm writing letters back and forth to her, wherever I'm writing letters to, I like using these because it kind of gives a vintage feel even to a letter you might be writing. And I kind of printed them on this, it's almost tannish yellow paper. It kind of gives it a vintage antique vibe. The Yost Typewriter Company. Oh, that one's in London, New York. And here's I'm not sure if that's Mignon or a Midnon. A Mignon or Mignon. I'm not sure if that G is supposed to be silent. She actually told me what this said, and I can't remember. But I actually have this machine, the Mignon Schreib machine. It's called an index typewriter, and I'll show that on a later video sometime, what you might find interesting. That's those. And next I have an advertisement here for the Olympia Typewriter Company, which was originally based in I'll just say Germany right now. But that's that. And I just thought you'd like to see that pretty lady typing away on a Olympia typewriter there. And I'll get into the whole history of Olympia typewriters again in another video, because it's going to take, I'm already here, taking a long time. We'll get into the history of them some other time. But here's the typewriter I've been using lately, and it is a Olympia, related to that advertisement there. Olympiette. I really like this typewriter. It's very light because it's all made out of mostly plastic. But it's a company based in Germany. I'll just go that far on this one. But this whole thing is made in Japan, which it confused me at first because it's a German company, but they're having their stuff made somewhere else, and you know that's kind of common these days. But that's all I'll say about that because I want to talk about Olympia typewriters in a different video. And later on, they kind of didn't make their own typewriters. They might have designed them, but they had it made somewhere else. And there's another type head in there, the Lambert Typewriter Company. And this is one I've been using, and it's really fun. It's lightweight. I type that on there. Hello, BC. Anyway, that's my video for today. I just wanted to show you that stuff really quick. One of these days I should just, I think in a video or two I'll just talk about the antiques more and not so much about the records. I'll kind of mix it up a little so I can give some more history on things. And that's it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this shorter for y'all because I know everybody gets tired of watching videos that are really long. And that's it. I might play a song here really quick. Part of one. Oh, maybe not. I got to reset that. We will try this again. Okay, I think I got it reset. We'll try this again. Finally. At some point, you might want to see the inside of this. I'm not sure. There's about 145 records in there. Calling over and out, and Weirdos Unite.